With that being said, we will get started with our press conference as we go to Huntsville, Alabama, and Alabama A&M head coach Connell Maynor. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing great, Coach. Thanks so much for taking some time to join us. If you could, please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent game versus Alabama State.
Oh, yeah. We played in the 80th McDonald's Magic City Classic, sponsored by Coca-Cola. And it's always a big game, big classic. We probably had 30,000 with overcast and light rain, and probably another 30,000 outside. It was a great atmosphere, and we knew it was going to be a good game. You throw the records out the book when we play Alabama State and in the Classic. So it was 21-14 halftime, and then they came out, got the ball and scored and tied it up 21-21. I think we scored 14 unanswered in the third, and both of us scored one in the fourth quarter. So we wound up beating 42-28. Well, it was a good football game. I thought our guys played hard. I was proud of those guys and my coaches for having great game plans and just getting that W. We want to send these seniors out on a winning note, and they helped get this program turned around. So it was a great win for our program, and we just made a couple more plays than they did.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach Maynor. Once again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor. Coach, obviously offensively, your team was able to get rolling last with 4 touchdown tosses. Talk a little bit about the offensive performance for the Bulldogs.
It probably was our best offensive performance of the year. I don't think we turned the ball over, and that might have been the first game all year that we didn't turn the ball over. Aquil executed at a high level. Gary ran the ball. We was able to keep him off balance by running and passing. And let me tell you, that's probably, arguably the best defense in the league. Jackson probably has it, but Alabama State really does a great job on defense. And for us to put up 42 points on that defense, again, my staff did a great job and the players did a great job executing. You're not just going to go in there and score 42 points on Alabama State. I think the only other team that did that this year was Auburn University. So, we kind of got the receivers going a little bit. Gary's running the ball, and we was able to keep them off balance a little bit.
Next question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. News came down this morning that one of your good friends, Donald Hill-Eley, would no longer be Alabama State. Just any thoughts on that in your guys' friendship and just the camaraderie you guys had over the years?
Oh yeah, I've texted him this morning and gave my condolences and let him know if anything I can do to let me know. And he called me back, and we talked about 10 minutes already this morning. So it's part of the job, man. When you take the job, it's only 2 type of coaches: coaches being hired and coaches being fired. So we already talked, and he's doing okay. It's still early, but he's doing okay, and he understands it's part of it.
What was it like to go up against him all those years in the SWAC?
It was great. It was great. It's like going up against your friends at home when you talk junk all day in school about who's going to win when you get home and go to the park and play, and then you go play, and you got the bragging rights the next day till you play again. And so, you talk about what you did, or when you're growing up and just have fun, and then you got to go out that afternoon and play, and that's what we do. We just have fun and compete, knowing that we're gonna still be friends after the football game. But for that 3 hours, we got to try to get our teams as prepared as possible to win the football game.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to Mo Carter. I think we might have lost Mo. Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, Coach, good morning.
Good morning, Mo.
So after picking up victory on Saturday, Hey, Coach, after picking up a victory on Saturday, how much of a relief was it for you and your team to get back into the win column after those 3 straight losses?
You didn't see me taking those deep breaths? Oh, man, it was huge. 3-game losing streak with an open week is like 4-game losing streak because you got to go through it for 4 weeks. And we really didn't feel we was playing that bad. We turned the ball over half a dozen times against Grambling, not to take anything away from Coach Fobbs, his team, and his defense. The game that we thought we could have won. And at FAMU, we thought we played well enough to win that game. And Coach Simmons found a way to win it late in the fourth quarter. The outscoring is 19-3. So, we felt we was playing good. We felt like we could have easily been 5-1. And we just wanted to continue that. We got the open week to heal up, get a couple players back, and especially on defense. We got about 3 players back on defense, and so it helped that defense out, and we was able to get the win. We want to keep our Magic City Classic record at perfect at 4-0, and we was able to do that. And we want to get back on top and back out at a winning season, 4-3, and try to continue that this week and send these seniors out of here with another winning season.
And coming up next, you've got Mississippi Valley. They come up to Huntsville to face you inside of Lewis Cruz Stadium. I know that their record doesn't really indicate really how good of a team Coach Dancy has over there in Entabena. So when you look at this squad, what kind of stands out to you the most as you prepare for the Delta Devils?
How hard they play. Offense, defense, special teams. Coach Dancy has really got these guys turned around, headed in the right direction. The record do not show it, but this is a much improved football team. They play with confidence. They play hard. They're solid on offense. They're solid on defense. They're solid on special teams. And if you're not ready to play, they will beat you. You will get beat if you're not ready to play. They've been in every game this year. They're a couple players away from having 4 wins, man, 4 or 5 wins. So we know we got to play well this week. We got to put the Classic behind us, and we got to get ready to play because they're coming in here trying to get a W.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Maynor with Alabama A&M. Again, if you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature to get your question in the queue for Coach. Any final questions for Coach Maynor? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
All right. Once again, good morning to everyone. Happy to be joined by Alabama State Hornets interim head coach, Travis Pearson. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about the team's most recent outing versus Alabama A&M.
Well, the 80th Magic City Classic didn't fare well for the Alabama State Hornets. Coach Maynor had a really good plan. He came in and got behind us in the past game and created some explosive plays, and we didn't adjust. We got a chance to get back in it early in the third quarter, but we couldn't get that one stop that we needed. And kudos to him and his staff, what they did to generate that offense. So we'll look forward to this upcoming week and lick our wounds and keep on going.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. And just a quick note for our media, Coach will obviously be here to field any questions related to the game this past week, as well as the upcoming matchup for Alabama State versus Prairie View. Any questions related to the coaching change, please direct those to Travis Jerome with Alabama State Communications. With that being said, we'll open it up for questions for Coach Pearson. First question goes to Kendrick Marshall.
Yeah, Coach. How do you now turn to game planning after kind of the events of the day?
Well, we just take it day by day. We got guys on both sides of the ball that have been coaching for a while and understand the dynamics of this game and understand the task we got ahead of us. And I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm just keeping it in the road. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to go in and put our heads together and try to get the best plan to help us be successful on Saturday.
Did you say anything to the team this morning about moving forward?
I did. I met with the team this morning, myself and the coaches, and we hashed it out, and we talked about what we need to do to get this week done and be successful, and told them to get ready to go.
All right, thanks.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Pearson.
Good morning.
I know it's a tough situation, but appropriately, I want to say congratulations, at least for the opportunity in the interim role.
Thank you.
With that being said, heading in to play Prairie A&M University down there in Prairie View, Texas for their homecoming. They're playing obviously pretty good football in terms of the record. What have you seen in terms of the dynamics they do that you look forward to getting your team ready to prepare for that game?
Well, the first thing, Coach Dooley is doing a great job offensively and defensively. Jawan Pass is a big-time playmaker that can throw the ball, make any throw on the field. They got speed on the outside. They got a good run game, and it's a reason why they're up in the top of the West. Defensively, they got a front four that is as good as any we've seen. They cause a lot of chaos. They cause a lot of havoc inside, and they got guys on the edges that can cover man to man. So it's a really good football team, and we really got our work cut out on Saturday.
Next question goes to Ken Rashad.
Coach, how you doing? Ken Rashad, HBCU Sports.
How you doing, Ken?
All right. Coach, I do want to ask, with respect to the changes with the staff, what will be the coaching philosophy between you and the rest of the staff with respect to offense and defense and so forth? How is that going to look with this game in particular and going forward for the rest of the season?
Well, the philosophy of defense is going to stay the same. And, we're going to make some adjustments, and we're going to make some changes and keep doing what we do. Offensively, we're going to continue to do what we do there. Here again, I'm not reinventing the wheel. We're going to go out and put our heads together in these meetings all week long and come up with a plan that's going to help us be successful on Saturday. So there's no need to reinvent the wheel. Football is football. It's 100 yards long, it's 53 yards wide. So you just got to go play.
And as a follow-up with respect to your offensive play and the fact that you've been kind of going back and forth with quarterbacks between Ryan Nettles and Miles Crawley, what does that look like going forward with respect to who will get to start this game and then possibly going forward?
Well, we'll play it out this week, and we'll watch these guys toss it around in practice and see if they can make the commands and make the reads and help us be successful. So we'll play that out in practice just like normal every week.
Appreciate it, Coach.
You're welcome.
Currently taking questions for Coach Pearson with Alabama State. Once again, if you do have a question, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach Pearson with Alabama State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Pearson, we really appreciate your time today, and we look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. That being said, I do see that we have Coach McNair on the call with us. Don't want to hold him too long. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent game versus Southern.
I thought it was a great ball game. Just playing the game. I think offensively we did some things very well. Scored 35 points. We had 2 turnovers. One of them, both turnovers turned into points that we had. We had 2 fumbles, one on our own 3-yard line that was converted into touchdown by Southern. Early we had one on our first drive by the Charles Pringle, and obviously it converted into points as well. So 2 turnovers. I think what Southern did was good stuff to take away the ball. We just didn't play well on our defensive part, giving up 35 points and missed a lot of tackles, things of that nature. And when that happens to you, you get beat by those things that happen like that during the course of a football game. Not to take away from Coach Rollins and what he did with his team from Southern. They was geared up, ready to play. Very good football program, very good football team. They did some outstanding stuff. But just got to win the battles, the one-on-one battles outside. We got to win those. We lost them on offense and we lost them on defense. So just to win the battles of one-on-one and things of that nature. When you play on a really good football team, it really matters. So we didn't do that. So we lost the football game to a very, very good football team.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open it up for questions for Coach McNair. First question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach McNair. If you could speak about the difference between this Southern University team and the Dawson Odoms-led Southern University teams that you've defeated in the recent past.
I mean, there's so much things of similarity in both of the programs. I mean, I think they're doing some of the same stuff, offensively and defensively. Just, I thought that what we did in terms of defense-wise and not being able to stop them offensively, it really came down to who's going to have the ball last in terms of what offense is going to score the last point. And I think they end up with the ball last with the last-minute field goal to win the ball game. But there's so many similarities in both teams. Some things have changed, but similarity in both when Odom's there and now.
Thanks, Coach.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach McNair, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing good, James. How you?
Pretty good, sir. The conversation of November football. Can you talk about November football, why that's important in the SWAC, HBCU football, and college football as a whole, as far as playing well and winning?
Well, that's when it comes down to it. Always in the last month in November, and the last few games that you're playing, it always kind of break the ice and where you're at and where you stand and where you're going to be standing at the end. So November play is very good. We got 3 games left. Got to go Bethune. Very good football program down there with Coach Simmons. We just have to play a good November schedule from here on out. We got 3 games left, and we can go 3-0. We'll be fine. So that's our mentality throughout the course of what we got to do in terms of winning the West Division.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach McNair, wanted to focus on the next matchup in terms of Bethune-Cookman. I know they come in without a win on the season, but they played relatively well, maybe not consistent on both sides of the ball. What do you see on film that you're going to prepare your team for getting on the road?
They are tough. They are a tough football program. We got to travel there. Coach Simmons done a great job, and he's could be on the winning side of the schedule. So what he's doing, I think, some outstanding stuff in terms of offense and defense. They're playing very hard. They losing games by a very small margin. They just playing to the end. They still fighting. And that's what we expect when we go down there. We expect a team that's going to fight and is going to play hard. So we got to match their intensity of how they play and what they play with. So the biggest thing is we just got to be ready to play a good brand of football when we go down there in Daytona.
If my memory serves me correctly, you all took a trip down there a short while ago. Does that help that you've previously been able to go down to Daytona and set up for a game, although that game, I believe, was canceled due to lightning? Does that help in terms of preparing to take that trip down there, although it's a conference game now?
Yeah, as far as the setting was, we had the SWAC MEAC Challenge that year, and due to lightning and stuff, we didn't get a chance to finish. But just some of the guys that's still on the team and some of the coaches that's still here got a chance to see Daytona and see what it's all about down there and get ready to play. So the venue is going to be very good. It's going to be a very exciting game for us. We just got to get up early and get ready to play a good football team at 12 o'clock.
Get up early. Thank you, Coach McNair. I'll be up early watching as well. Thank you.
Well, I like
Good luck this weekend.
Currently taking questions for Coach McNair with Alcorn State. If you do have any questions, please utilize the raise your hand feature. Get your question in the queue for Coach. Currently taking questions for Coach McNair. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, we appreciate your time. And actually, we do have a question. Next question goes to Stephen Gaither.
Hey, Coach McNair, how you doing?
I'm doing good, sir.
Awesome. Just wanted to ask, obviously, with the loss, you guys, you never want that loss, but it's, you guys still control your own destiny, with the game this week at Cookman, and then obviously matching up with Prairie View. How do you think the championship pedigree that you guys have created there has you got your mental your team's mental state, knowing that they've been down before, but they're definitely not out of it?
Oh, that's exactly right. The biggest thing is that our guys have been in championship games before. They know what it takes to win, and they know how to get the job done as a coaching staff. And just playing a good team. Leading with one we got in front of us right now. We just got to play hard and put forth the effort and maximize everything that we have going out through this stretch in November. It's going to be the biggest key, and try to get some guys back that's healthy, get guys back healthy, and in terms of playing, we're missing out a lot of guys that's kind of banged up a little bit right now. So we just got to find a way to get these guys back to the playing surface. It's the biggest thing for us. Once we do that, I think we'll be okay in terms of playing the rest of the season.
Thanks, Coach.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, thank you for your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. All right, we do have Coach Sims with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for your time. If you could, Coach, start us out with an opening statement, just kind of recapping your past week and recapping your upcoming opponent, Alcorn State.
Well, I think we took, this past week and we got some guys healthy, number one. That was the biggest thing, making sure we could get some guys back to be able to line up and give ourselves a chance to win. But we worked on ourselves. We did a lot of self-scouting, a lot of things that we were doing wrong, things we were missing on, misfires on offense or defense or in the kicking game. Just a lot of time fixing ourselves, not really being focused on the opponent the first few days. It was just us to make sure we were right. So that was the biggest thing this week. Rest, recuperation, and just a lot of self-scouting. And, then we obviously got on Alcorn to make sure that we had a little bit of a chance to peek at them last week.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll now open up for questions for Coach Sims. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Sims.
Good morning.
November football, can you talk about the concept of, and again, there's a lot of football left to be played during this month.
It is, and I was just talking with another coach this morning. Living in Florida gives you a little bit of a false sense of reality when it comes to November football. I've lived in Maryland and DC and a few more places, Louisiana, and November is cold. It's 73 degrees outside right now in Florida. So the weather is one, a little bit different, but always a lot of great football to be played in November. And we're up for the challenge. We're ready for it. Have not been able to have one pop for us yet, but we're definitely, I think, close. And we're excited about the opportunity to have a program like Alcorn come in, and knowing what Coach McNair and his staff has done in the time that they have been there is unbelievable. And to have a chance to match wits with these guys and line up across from them, it's definitely an honor. But we're definitely looking forward to the challenge.
Coach, in closing, can you talk about coaching up some of your players? And again, these young men get an opportunity to earn an education a month from now or 6 weeks down the road. They can walk out of Bethune with a degree, but right now they can still play some football. Can you just talk about helping young gentlemen earn an education and win games?
Well, I think, most of the coaches on this call, and including myself, that's the only way we could go to school. And I think number one, you have to start with that and make sure that they understand that they should appreciate the opportunity, because everyone can't be doing it. It's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. But you still have to be appreciative of the opportunity and understand why you're here and understand why they call them student athletes, and understand that you are preparing yourself to become a positive, productive citizen in life. And that's things that we preach to these guys every day.
Thank you, sir. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Sims.
Good morning.
Sounds like the week off was very productive. Want to get into – go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't want to interrupt there.
Oh, no. It was very productive. I think, we got a lot of things done, and we took things back to square one. Like I said, we did a lot of self-scouting and went back to square one and started over with tackling, with handoffs, with stance and start. It was all square one and building ourselves back up to where we are now.
Thank you. Any discernible takeaways that you've been able to gauge from the interdivisional matchups that taken place thus far? Is it really just too early to get anything out of that?
It's early, but I said it a couple weeks ago. It's a lot of great football, and I think you have to bring your A game week in and week out. And it's not. I don't think anyone in this league. They say, well, the SWAC's a pass happy league. Well, it's a lot of schools running the football in this league too. So I don't know if that still holds true. It may have been true years ago, but now I think it's some pretty balanced offenses in this league, and all the kids on defense can run. There are a lot of great athletes, and I think, contrary to what a lot of people may think, there are a lot of great football coaches in this league. And I'm just excited again every week to have the opportunity to just coach against these guys.
Great points there. Take that in context. I wanted to ask, in terms of breaking down film versus watching a game, did you get a chance to watch the game Saturday between Alcorn and Southern? Just obviously, I know you watch a lot of football as a fan of the game, but then this is coming up to your next matchup versus breaking it down on film. What is the difference for your perspective in terms of how you look at the two? If you did, I guess. Okay.
Oh, of course I did. Well, on top of recruiting, because we went out and we had to get a little bit of recruiting done also during that time. And most of us were traveling back in on Saturday or either still attending games. But you can't really, as a coach, ever watch a game as a fan. You go in with that mindset, I'm just going to watch the game and see what happens. And before you know it, you're breaking it down. You're looking for tips. You're looking for tendencies. So I think it's all one and the same once it gets past, a little bit over halfway in the first quarter.
Mr. Andrew Roberts, I know it's generally a 2-question minimum. Will you allow me to proceed with an additional question at this time?
Oh, absolutely. Thank
you. Thank you for that. Coach Sims, just wanted to continue. In terms of what you've seen on film that you broke it down like that, what are some things that you are wanting your defense to look at in terms of this matchup against the Braves?
Well, first and foremost, we have to make sure that we keep Felix under wraps. He is a dynamic quarterback. He can deliver the ball, and he can hurt you with his legs. So we have to make sure that we're keeping eyes on him at all times, know where he is. And they have a dynamic receiving core. I don't think there is one guy in their receiving core. They have a number of guys in the last few games that we watched that have been productive. So we just have to stay true to our coverages and make sure that we're being aggressive on routes and giving ourselves an opportunity. I think those are the things that you look at when you look at an Alcorn offense, and you see they have a solid running game, but they also, and they have a tight end that can catch the football. He can get upfield and he can block when he needs to, but he can catch the football. And again, they have a quarterback that can deliver the football, that can run the show. And that's the thing that's most important, I think. It's most impressive.
With the versatility of all those dynamic parts of the offense that you talk about, is having a spy on Felix option, or is it not really realistic based on all the things that you talk about? And I guess I know we don't want to get too far in the schematic.
You can come in our meeting in about half hour, and I zoom you in. We'll talk about it. I see Fred still on, man. I can't give it all. I'm trying to win a game. I see Fred still on. I'm sure he got his pad because he's sharp now. He old school. So I know he's taking his mental notes right now. I can't give it all away.
Well, I'll let you go. Don't answer that. I wanted to be a good fight. I look forward to this morning. As he said, that early time matchup. You get me up early and I'll be good to go.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care. Good luck this weekend, Coach Sims. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Andrew.
Sir, thank you, Dr. Cavill. And we are currently taking questions for Coach Sims with Bethune-Cookman. We've got about 3 more minutes in Coach's window block of availability. Currently taking questions for Coach Sims. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking with you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I do see Coach Simmons there with us. Coach, how are you doing, Coach Simmons?
Doing well. How's everyone doing today?
Doing great, Coach. As always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent victory at home over Grambling State.
Yeah, last week was a great week. Obviously, homecoming here at FAMU was always special. We didn't get to do this last year in 2020, so what we dubbed as an epic return was everything and more. So great slate of events, ton of alum coming back, former players, former coaches. Just great to see everyone. And then it culminated in a great football game, for our football team. And the guys came out and played extremely well against a team that, again, obviously rivals our history and our tradition as a football juggernaut. Again, they came in and played as physical and as aggressive as we thought they would. But our guys stood the challenge and played well enough to win the game. Really controlled the ball, had the ball for 37 minutes. Held them to again under 200 yards of total offense, which again is a testament to our defense and the way they played all season. Covered well and played a really complete game. I thought Rashawn McKay played really good football the first half, and were able to make some throws, extend some drives, to be 9 of 15 on third downs, the best mark we've had all season. So great team win, puts us at 6-2 overall, 4-1 in conference play, and definitely keeps our postseason aspirations alive. So put it to bed because we have another tough challenge this week, heading down to Baton Rouge, Mumford Stadium, to take on the Southern team, who just obviously had a huge win against Alcorn last week. And again, in an atmosphere that rivals Brad Memorial Stadium as the most raucous atmosphere in Black college football. So our guys will definitely have to be ready for that challenge. But we'll open the floor for questions.
Simmons, thank you for those comments. First question goes to James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Simmons. How are you, sir?
Good morning, James.
When you put a bookend on this victory against Grambling State, just talk about that experience. It's something you've watched all your life in terms of FAMU and Blue Bloods football, but just talk about your experience and your takeaway, your memories of what you were able to do on Saturday.
Well, as a young man growing up, coming to FAMU homecomings, it's humbling to be able to lead this program during this time. And again, to take on a team like Grambling wasn't my choice to schedule Grambling for homecoming. Obviously they're a program, that when you think about Black college football, think about the history of this sport, they're probably the first name that comes up. We may be a close second, but they're probably the first name because of what Eddie Robinson was able to do. And I have the utmost respect for Coach Fobbs and the job that he's done there as a Gramblinite. And again, just a great game, 2 juggernauts going toe to toe. And it was an intense game, a fiery game. And again, just excited to be able to come out with the victory. But again, that's what makes the SWAC great, is you have these type of matchups. And I don't think any other conference can say that, you have games like we play Grambling one week and turn around and play Southern the next week. It's great for the conference.
Coach, the two-headed monster in Louisiana, next stop, you go into Mumford. Southern will be standing there ready to play. They just took care of Alcorn, or outlasted Alcorn. Just talk about going in another week in the SWAC, and it's always great football.
Well, when we came into the conference, we dubbed it as the FCS SEC. And the one thing you know about the SEC is there are no weeks off, and the same could be said about this conference. We've had tough games in every conference game so far, but that's what we expect. And this will be no different. Southern will be, fiery. They'll be excited to play us. It came here in 2019 and it was a slugfest. And I expect, the same type of atmosphere, the same type of environment. And just looking forward to a great game and a great environment. And again, that's what makes the Southwestern Athletic Conference, I think, the conference that everyone wants to see and be a part of because of these type of games.
Coach, in closing, November football, why is that so important? And again, it's about playing well in the month of November. Can you speak to that?
Well, we've kind of been in a playoff mindset for the last 5 weeks. But again, most teams make that strong push in the month of November. Last few games of the season, everyone is right there together, kind of as far as the standings. A lot of teams, and that's when you create separation. There are a lot of head-to-head games that are going to determine the fate of a lot of football teams, and this is one for us this Saturday. So, in order to win championships or to go to postseason play, you have to play well in November. This is what everyone remembers, and in the eyes of decision makers, these are the type of games they'll watch the most.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
You too.
Goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Simmons.
Good morning, Doc.
The atmosphere on television looked very dynamic in that game against Grambling. Your team is playing extremely well. Do you like the progression of what your offense is becoming?
I really do. I think Rashawn is growing up with every snap. I think our running game has started to take form, and we're getting our receivers back healthy. That's been a big part of us the last few weeks, and so we're understanding who we are. Really formulating our identity. It took us a little bit of time to do that, but I think we're hitting our stride at the right time. But we'll need it because Southern's defense is going to be tough to move the ball against, consistent to score against. So we definitely need to play our best game on this coming Saturday.
Follow-up question is just that, to talk about moving to play from Grambling and Pack Stadium, now going into another hostile environment. Just 2 years ago, this went from a great interconference game, and now it's an interdivisional matchup. What does that mean in terms of what you've seen thus far in terms of the interdivisional matchups of the conference thus far from Grambling and Southern back to back?
Well, we're two teams that's playing for postseason contention. We both have a lot on the table. And so these are the type of games that you look forward to playing in November, late October and November. Games that have meaning, games that, the eyes of the conference and particularly the nation and voters will be watching, and that's why you come to a place like FAMU, to be able to play in these type of games, to have these type of atmospheres, and to go out and continue to prove that we're, the team of destiny. And so it's going to be a great challenge, but our guys are definitely looking forward to making the trip.
I as well. I'll be watching. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Doc.
Next question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Yes, Coach. In preparing for Southern, it seems like most of the other SWAC teams are spread offenses. Does Southern create a difference in preparation because they're a little more run-oriented, it seems like, than most teams?
Well, obviously, they'll pose a challenge. They're the top rushing offense in the conference. Pardon me, I don't know what they're doing outside, but they're the top rushing offense in the conference. We have one of the top rushing defenses in the conference. So that old saying, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? So something's got to give. Either we have to stop the run or we're going to have a long day. And so, we know that's a challenge. That's what Southern prides themselves on. But our defense is definitely looking forward to seeing if we can be the team that continues to stop the run on a weekly basis.
Well, you started the season too with some uncertainty at quarterback, and now you've got your guy. Can you talk a little bit about how that process went?
Well, we just had to be patient. Understand that Rashawn is a guy that hadn't played a lot of football, and he's getting better every time he goes out there. So for us, it wasn't about panicking. We sent a message, week 2 when we made the switch, but he stayed resilient. He stayed true to his character and didn't quit and continued to work hard. And that hard work is paying off. So we're excited to have him lead us. And again, we'll continue to ride him as long as we can.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Question goes to Perry Daniels.
Good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Perry.
If we could talk about the impact that First Take and the ESPN crew being in Tallahassee for that homecoming, what type of impact did that have on your players, your student body, and your fan base?
Well, I think the impact that it has on our student body and fan base is amazing. Just to be able to have ESPN here all season, to have First Take come here to unveil Will Packer's amphitheater, one of our prominent alum. It's just something that I think this university can greatly benefit from. We've always known that we've had a great product here at FAMU, one that's second to none. But now the masses get to see that, and that's why we're excited about ESPN following us and being around us, because we get to show the world what we're capable of. And atmospheres like homecoming is one of those opportunities that we took full advantage of, and we're excited about it.
And it's been a while since Florida A&M has traveled to Baton Rouge. If you could talk about being in that atmosphere at Southern University, and from an offensive standpoint, where do you look to attack that Southern University defense?
Well, the atmosphere would be very similar to what we face at home every week. Packed house, loud band, and raucous fan base. And so that's what we have to prepare ourselves for. And we've talked about that with our football team. As far as the Southern defense, they're very multiple in how they try to attack you. So we have to be sound. We have to throw and catch. We have to run the football. It goes back to basic fundamentals. And so for us, it's about doing the little things right and doing them better than the other team. So there's no one particular way to say attack them. It's about us being who we are and, keep running the football, controlling the line of scrimmage, and continuing to get first downs.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Any final questions for Coach Simmons? Florida A&M. Next question goes to Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach, good morning to you. How you doing?
Hey, Ty.
Coach, how much value has Marquise Bell created for himself going forward?
Oh, you probably have to ask the NFL scouts that, but I think he's helped himself tremendously. Phenomenal football player, phenomenal young man. And obviously when you're at this level, they want to see consistency. And so came here in 2019, had an all-conference, all-American type year. Didn't get to play in 2020. And so this year, the scouts wanted to see how much better he got in between 2019 and 2021. So you see him now, with 2 sacks. He's still leading the team in tackles, which is something that he flourishes in and thrives in. And so we're doing a lot more with him. I believe he's the best player in FCS football. I think Isaiah Land's a close second. Savion Williams maybe a close third. So we're blessed to have some very talented young men here, all particularly on that defense. But Marquise Bell is a guy that, again, just so excited to see what his future entails, because I know he has a bright one. And again, NFL scouts coming through here every day is proof that he is, indeed one of the best players in America.
And it may be late for Marquise, but going forward, do you envision any of your players being able to take advantage of the NCAA's new name, image, and likeness, resource that players can now take advantage of? And have you had discussions with players about that for future possible off the field endorsement type things?
Oh, we have players now that are taking advantage of it. We have multiple guys, whether it be local NIL deals or even regional or national, so they've taken advantage of it. It's definitely something that we've talked to them about. We were one of the first institutions to partner with the group Peak Sports that manages our NIL deals for our players. And so we're ahead of the curve, and we want to make sure our student athletes can take full advantage of everything NIL allows them to do. And it's definitely a huge recruiting tool for us. So Marquise is taking advantage of it now, and we're certain that future Rattlers will do so as well.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Simmons, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you, guys. See you next week.
Thank you. Now go to Grambling State. Grambling State and Coach Broderick Fobbs. I do see Coach Fobbs there with us. Good morning, Coach.
Morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing at Florida A&M.
Well, I'll tell you, it was a great environment. You couldn't ask for, a more competitive environment to have an opportunity to play in. It was good for our young kids to get a chance to be in that type of environment. We're used to that type of stuff, seeing it, every week, but I just thought that they beat us in every phase of the game. They out physicaled us. They out executed us. We couldn't move the football like we needed to. And a lot of it had to do with them. They're a really good football team with some really good football players, and they deserve to win.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open it up for questions for Coach Fobbs. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach Fobbs, James Hill with BNC Sports. Can you just talk about the concept of November football, why that's so important in college football, HBCUs, and Grambling State, any football, but definitely in the month of November?
Well, the month of November is so important, because, that's normally when championships are won. Most teams are executing at their best at that particular time, and you want to make sure that you're playing at your best at that particular time, because that's going to determine, your fate, at the end of the season. So you work so hard, building a foundation in August, September, and October that you want to see things come to pass in November. And, November is pretty much the culmination of all of your hard work that you put in. So that's really, where you decide what type of team you are and who you are, and really get to know who your team is.
Coach Fobbs, what's your thought process going into Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Really good football team. They've kind of been up and down, this season, this fall, but the talent is still there. The players are still there. The coaching staff is still there. They're a really good football team with really good quarterback play and good playmakers on the outside, good running game. And then defensively, they're going to get after you. They're going to get up in your face and try to dictate tempo and dictate what you're going to do. So we got to be ready to play, and then going into another hostile environment in Arkansas, it's always going to be tough. So, we talked about it on yesterday, and we got to be prepared for it.
Thank you, sir. Have a great week.
You too.
Taking questions for Coach Fobbs with Grambling State. Any final questions for Coach Fobbs with Grambling State? Coach Fobbs, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, happy to be joined by Arkansas Pine Bluff head coach Doc Gamble. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning to you.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. If you would please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent game at Texas Southern.
Went down, I tell you what, Texas Southern's a pretty good football team. They're much improved from the last time we played them in 2019. Went down, I thought we came out the gate, played really well early. We drove the ball down the field, got some points, and that's what we wanted to do. Got to stop defensively, and then came back, drove down the ball again, and converted a fourth down, but we fumbled the ball. And I think at that point, that was a turning point in the game because we gave up a big score. They scored right immediately right after that. But it kind of took the wind out of our sails. So went in and down 28-3 at halftime. Came back out again, moved the ball pretty well. Then didn't come up with anything. But I tell you what, their quarterback played really well for those guys. He's a freshman. I think he's going to be a talented dude down the well. He's going to be a force to be reckoned with in this conference for the next several years. It's not always pretty with him, but it's effective. So they did a good job, and he's the guy that makes them guys go. So, but they played a lot better on defense. than what they have done in the past, and they were able to put it on us pretty good.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open it up for questions for Coach Gamble. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach Gamble, I hope you and everybody in Pine Bluff are well. This weekend, you'll get an opportunity to see Grambling State University. Just talk about moving forward and what you envision in that contest.
Well, always a good program. I mean, always a good football team, great program, stoic program, and they'll be well coached as usual. They be really good on defense as usual. Coach well on special teams. And then it seemed like they're still trying to find their way, kind of like us, offensively for some consistency. Right now, I think you have to prepare for 2, maybe 3 quarterbacks going into this week. So it'll be a big challenge this week in preparation. But it's always a good game when we play those guys. And it's been a good game since I've been here, going back to 2018. So we're looking forward to it and looking forward to getting back out to work this week and preparing for a good opponent that's coming in here.
Coach Gamble, why is the concept of November football important? Teams want to be winning. Teams want to be right, and talk about the significance of playing well in the month of November, whether it be the SWAC or any college football, any kind of football you want to play well. Talk about November.
Well, in our case, it's going to set the tone for the off season. Us going into the off season, and you want to go into the off season on a positive note, and you want to go into the off season on a winning note, and you want to go into the off season on a winning streak. So for us, it's setting the tone for the off season. And, November is also important for recruiting because, if you're getting your head beat in November now, it's going to be tough to sell your program to a potential recruit that you're really targeting, that you want to join your program. So for us, in our case, it's gonna have to affect us in a way. We're trying to get this nasty taste out of our mouth and go into the offseason on a positive note.
Thank you, sir. Good luck moving forward.
All right. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Gamble with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach Gamble, last week we talked about freshman quarterback and wanting to make them play like a freshman quarterback. Obviously, Coach Body didn't play that much, but can you evaluate what you saw out there a little bit about this young freshman quarterback?
Well, he didn't play like a freshman quarterback last week. We didn't make him play like a freshman quarterback.
No doubt.
But he's better than what I'm real critical with quarterbacks because I'm a former quarterback myself, and I really dissect those guys and our opponents. And he's better than average. I can see why he maybe those guys maybe he got over recruited, under recruited out of high school because it's to me he's a gunslinger. And he gets the ball out. But the other part about it, he's dynamic enough. He can beat you with his legs, and he can extend drives, which he was able to do. He didn't show any panic at that playing quarterback where you get some of that with freshman QBs. But he played with a lot of poise, and he was able to get the ball out, and they do some good things for him that allow him, to play to his strengths as well. So. But he was better than what I really thought he was going to be, and he has much respect from me now. Yeah, I can tell you that. So he did really well. They got a good one in him. So throwing the ball, he's not mechanically. You can overlook him a little bit, but he's very accurate. The ball is he throws a ball that's catchable for the wideouts, and that's what you need at that position.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Gamble with Arkansas Pine Bluff. Any final questions for Coach? Coach Gamble, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. All right, happy to be joined by Coach Dancy with Mississippi Valley State. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great, Coach. I appreciate you, as always, taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Jackson State.
I thought we came out. I thought we came out ready to play. We took an early lead with a field goal going into the first quarter, and they came back out, scored on a deep ball. But I thought we battled. You know, the score was, I think 7-6 going into halftime. I thought we had ourselves in the right position where we needed to be. You know, in that first half, we came back out in the second half and just made too many errors. You know, I think we had 6 turnovers, and we didn't match the turnover margin with those guys. I thought they had 3 turnovers, but we had 6. But we still could play competitive football. I thought we was the best team again this Saturday. We matched their physicality, and I thought we matched up well against them. You know, at the end of the day, I just think you can't have 6 turnovers against a good football program, in which they have. But at the end of the day, I was proud of the way our guys stood up and stood tall, and played hard through, you know, for 60 minutes with them. You know, that's about it.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions for Coach Dancy. First question goes to James Hill.
Hello, Coach Dancy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Awesome, sir. Can you just talk about the Valley of Scholars lost a great former basketball coach, a Mississippi man in Coach Stribling, away from football, but can you just talk about that gentleman and his legacy and the mood at Valley right now?
Oh man, you know, I had a chance to meet Coach Strib at least once or twice since I've been here. Great man, done some great things here at Mississippi Valley State. I think his legacy will be remembered by what he done, what he did here at Mississippi Valley State. Before my time, you know, a lot of the things that he did was way before my time. But you know, with the court being named after Coach Strib, he's really going to be missed around here at Mississippi Valley State, and my condolences goes out to him and his family.
Quick follow-up, you'll get Alabama A&M this week. Your thought process going in?
Another tough opponent for us. You know, at the end of the day, they got a good football team. I know they went through a few losses the last couple of weeks, but they was able to, you know, get back in the win column with the Magic City Classic win. But great football team, great athletes, very, very talented quarterback again this week. And our focus will remain the same. We just have to go out and play hard and play those guys tough in Huntsville. So that's going to be a challenge for us as we travel this week. We've been at home for the previous 3 weeks, so it's going to be a big challenge for us. But we look forward to every challenge.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach Dancy, good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. And yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm doing good.
Your defense is really playing some lights out football in terms of what you're able to do against some offenses that have been pretty strong. I've been asking this question this morning. I wanted to get your evaluation from your perspective on Jackson State freshman quarterback, Shedeur Sanders.
He's everything you want in a quarterback. He makes every throw on the field. He makes big time. He makes some of the hardest throws look easy. That's what I can say, especially being a freshman. You know, you don't expect a lot of these things that he's doing from a freshman, but he does it, and he does it well. If you don't get to him, he will eat you up. He will shred your defense apart. But I thought we got to him a lot. We put him on the ground a lot. We had a lot of hurries. I thought that second half they went to a max protection scheme that, you know, which allowed us not to get to him as much as we did in the first half, but we were still able to get hits on him. We want to be able to get hits on the quarterback as much as possible, and that was our thing going into this game. We may not be able to get to him because he does get the ball out very quickly, but we want to get him on the ground, and that's what we was able to do. We was able to just put a lot of people around and get him on the ground. Hit him a couple times, hit him a lot of times, and but he was still able to make some good throws. You know, two good passes that led to 2 touchdowns. But I thought our defense stood well and stood tall against a kid that, you know, right now that's probably ranked number one in all the FCS in every quarterback category. But we were able to get some pretty good shots on him, and we was able to rattle him a little bit in that first half. But you know, that young man just stood tall again and was able to answer on some big time plays.
Follow-up question, and now you go to the opposite side with the fifth-year senior Kill Glass that is really dynamic at the quarterback position. Is there anything defensively schematic that you want to do against him, or are you going to continue with the major framework of how you play defense of just being aggressive and hitting people in the mouth?
That's who we are. You know, that's the valid way. You know, we want to get after you. We want to hit you hard early. That's our thing. We want to be very aggressive on defense, hit you hard early on in downs. But with Aqeel, man, he's probably one of the top quarterbacks that has consistently done it in a long time in this conference. You know, much respect for that young man. I had a chance to watch him in high school, and he's been phenomenal in this conference. It's great to see that in this conference, that we have quarterbacks like this in this conference. Not just him, but we have a few great quarterbacks that's in this conference that needs the respect. And but we just want to get around him, you know, be able to put him on the ground like we did this week, you know, get to him. I think our D-line is probably one of the best D-lines in this conference. You know, hands down, I'll say that. You know, it's hard to block these 6-7 guys that we have rotating in and week out. And we just a hard-nosed group, and we play physical, we play hard, we play fast, and we get out the quarterbacks. That's our thing up front. We want to let our front four get after the quarterbacks, and they do a great job of doing that, you know. So our hands will be full this week with Aqeel, but, you know, our philosophy won't change. We want to get to the quarterback. We want to make him make tough decisions, make him make some big-time throws, but we want to live around his feet, and we want to put him on the ground when we have a chance to.
Thank you for your time this morning, Coach Dancy. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Next question goes to Mo Carter.
Hey, good morning, Coach Dancy. How are you?
Good morning. Yes, sir. I'm doing great.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, of course, you're talking about Aqeel Glass, and, you know, he's got a slew of weapons on that offensive wide receivers and running backs and whatnot. What are your overall thoughts about the guys at the skill position? And also, what are your thoughts about his running back, Gary Quarles, in that backfield?
I think that's the man you have to stop. You know, I think they're led by their running back. He's a running back who has, I think he eclipsed over 100 yards each game. You know, at the end of the day, that young man is very dynamic. He's small, but he's compact, and hey, you know, he's hard to stop once he gets going. So we have our hands full. You know, each week we go into the game and we want to limit opponents to under 100 yards rushing. I thought we did a great job of that this week, only allowing 30 yards on the ground. You know, with 23 carries, they only had 30 rushing yards this weekend, and that's got to be our mindset coming forward against Alabama A&M. But Aqeel, he has a lot of great weapons, and our philosophy is we can get to the quarterback in no time. He won't be able to find the weapons that he would like to at that point of time. You know, we want to get him off that spot. We want to make him move around, and we want to, like I said, we want to agitate him and hit him and put him on the ground a lot so that he can make a few mistakes when he does drop back and throw the ball. But he has some great weapons surrounding him. So yeah, like I said again, we got our hands full with another potent offense, but we look forward to the challenge every week. You know, like I said, we pride ourselves on having the best D-line in this conference, and those guys understand the task at hand.
All right, thanks, Coach Dancy. See you this week in Huntsville.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach Dancy with Mississippi Valley State. Any final questions for Coach? Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Utilize the raise your hand feature to get your questions in the queue for Coach. Happy to be joined by Coach Dooley with Prairie View A&M. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please Just starts out with an opening statement, recapping your team's bye week and previewing your upcoming opponent, Alabama State.
Yeah, we had an opportunity to have a bye week. Wasn't the best of time, but we made the best use of it. I thought we had a chance to continue to correct Prairie View, and I thought that was very important with going into this month of November. But, moving forward to Alabama State, I know this opponent that's coming in. When you talk about Coach Pierce taking over as the leader right now, he has his defense playing very, very aggressive. Got some guys on defense making plays. And then when you talk about the offense side of the ball, they still have the ability to score points with Nettles coming back now, getting back healthy, and still have Ezra Gray. So I know it's going to be a challenging contest for us, and we look forward for the challenge.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions for Coach Dooley. First question goes to James Hill.
Coach Dooley is James Hill with BNC Sports. When you look at the concept of November football, teams want to be playing well. Talk about winning football in November, the mentality going in, and how important November football is on any level, and especially right now in the SWAC.
I was brought up through Coach Richardson, and he always taught us that November is championship football. It's win or go home right now. It's playoff once you start into November, regardless of what the situation is. So it's win or go home. And you understand that teams are playing at their best. They had opportunity to have a couple of bye weeks, so now they're back healthy. They playing. They got a lot of chemistry. So you got to be playing your best football in the month of November.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward.
Thank you.
Goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Dooley.
Good morning.
How was the week off?
I want to say great but I prefer to play. But we did some good things with the week off.
Spot the ball.
Yes.
Understand. Well, I want to ask you, what is the challenge when you see a coaching change from a team that you're coming in to play? Obviously, one is the emotional component of one of your peers being let go. But in terms of just the matchups on the field, tactically, how challenging is that for any coach?
It's always a challenge because it's going to be, you're always going to change something. I don't look for an overhaul of the whole offense and defense. Of course, the guy that's taking over already ran the defense, so the defense is going to stay the same, could add a couple of wrinkles at this point in time. But you're talking about so late in the season right now, so you don't look for a huge change, but it's a different play call. So when it's a different play caller, things going to happen different. Everyone cannot call the game the same way. So we understand that. We just got to play football. We got to play our brand of football and understand that they're going to come in and they're going to have a different attitude, whether the attitude changed from the previous guy that was running it or the guy that's running it right now. When you talk about a coach, Hill-Eley, that was running the team, a great coach, a coach that's a great motivator, a coach that get those guys prepared to play. So you got the same football team coming in, just in a new direction.
In terms of your philosophy at this time of the year, are you working on doing things better from your perspective, or do you, when you break down the film of another team, do you try to go at certain areas that you see as a weakness maybe on another team?
Well, I try to correct Prairie View because we're making some mistakes that we shouldn't be making, especially this late in the season. But so we always want to take care of home first. Once we take care of home, of course, we want to see some of the things that they may have gotten better in. You never know. Throughout the course of the year, teams are going to get better. They're going to make adjustments. They're going to move forward. So we want to look at it. We look at the whole picture. We're not going to let anything go. So we want to take a look at the what our opponents are doing as well as ourselves. But we got to correct self first.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this week.
Thank you.
Next question goes to Terrence Harris.
Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm great. Hey, I'm doing a story on Jason Dumas. And I want to talk to you a little bit about just kind of his growth and how you've seen him grow over these 4 years you've had him and kind of, what makes him a special player?
Well, it comes from work, preparation, the way he prepared himself. He prepared himself. He's a guy that's going to work. He's never going to stop. I can really say 24/7. That's the type of young man he is. But you enjoy coaching a guy like Jason Dumas because not only does he do it on the field, but he does it in the classroom. This young man wants to make sure that he's going to graduate, and he's not just in a major. He's in engineering and doing a great job right now. He's set to graduate within another semester. So just the upbringing of this young man, you know, when you meet his parents, the way his parents talk to him and everything that he has and his character, you know, you're going to get a guy that's never going to stop working. So everything that he's doing is just it just goes to the way he prepared himself.
Yeah. And I was going to ask you also about his, you know, academically, how he's handled that. I mean, you know, you don't see very many engineering majors playing football. I mean, and the challenges that can come with that. And just in terms of just class load, you know, labs and things like that, how's he handled, you know, juggling all of that?
Well, you know, he did a good job. He understood coming in, you know, and now he understands that certain times that he want to take certain classes, but he always accepts the challenge, just like he accepts it on the football field. But, you know, we say we don't get a lot of guys to major in engineering. We just don't do a lot of stories on those guys. We got a lot of guys that's in some majors that are very, very challenging. And, you know, they just don't think football players would take those type of classes, but they do. Because, you know, our work habits is a little different. We understand that, you know, sleep is going to be real tough. We got to make sure we put the time in on the field so that we can take care of that. But even before we get to the field, we got to take care of the classroom.
Yeah, and I didn't mean it in that way. I mean, I'm just saying, just you know, sometimes just the class load and the trickiness of those schedules can make it a little bit challenging in certain majors.
No, you're absolutely right. No, I'm not taking that way, but I do go by the word student athlete. So they are a student first,
right? And
if you're an athlete second.
Yeah, he talked about how you said, you got to be in the moment of where you are at certain times. I mean, so when you're in class. You're in class. When you're on the field, you're in the field. And he said that's really helped him, you know, kind of be able to, you know, compartmentalize and handle all that comes at him.
Yeah, we use the acronym WIN, you know, and a lot of people take win in a different way. I think you're talking about winning that. No, we're talking about what's important now. What's important right now, if you got an 8 o'clock class, that's what's important at that particular time. So those guys understand that if you get up in the morning, what's important right now to get on your knees and say your prayers. So we operate in that mode right there, and those guys really have bought into that, and I think it helps us go a long way.
Thanks, Coach.
Goes to Ken.
I don't know if it's a disconnection. I couldn't hear you guys clearly.
Okay. Next question goes to Ken Rashad.
Oh, okay. Coach, I couldn't help but notice at the start of your segment, you mentioned something about the bye week and I guess not necessarily haven't had a chance to play. And I understand an open week during the course of the schedule, the philosophy tends to vary from coach to coach. And it appears that you were, I guess, given where things are right now, you wish that your team had an opportunity to play. Can you elaborate on what you meant by that when you said that earlier?
Well, you know, we were moving. Of course, you know, you need rest, but we had just had an open date. So that's why I didn't particularly need one. But, you know, we took care of business. We played a game. We just had to play against ourselves on Saturday, but we did play a game. I just wanted to keep moving because 2 weeks ago we had a bye week. I thought our guys was healthy at that point in time right there. Got the rest that they had needed. So it would have been a good thing just to keep moving on.
And to follow up on that, given where things are right now at this particular stage of the season, you, needless to say, are kind of in the driver's seat and you kind of control your own destiny. And I'm assuming your players are aware of that as well. Is that somewhat of a challenge to kind of make sure that they stay focused on the game, on the next game, as opposed to kind of looking at the rest of the season?
Well, you know, we talk about everything. I'm very transparent when I speak to those guys, so because I don't want them to think that anything is hidden or we're trying to say certain things. So they understand the only thing that's important right now is for us to go 1-0, because what you've done in the past won't help you in the month of November. You have to take care right now. What's important right now? Alabama State, November the 6th at 2 o'clock, and they understand that, and that's what we got to live by.
Appreciate that, Coach.
Thank you.
Final questions for Coach? Coach Dooley, as always, we appreciate your time. We look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. All right. I do see Coach Rollins with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. Good morning.
Coach, as always, thank you so much for taking some time to join us. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent victory over Alcorn State.
Well, it was a good showing. I was glad to see that our guys came out and fought hard, showed being very resilient and strong-minded to come back and have a bounce-back win at home this past Saturday against a very good Alcorn football team.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions for Coach Rollins. First question goes to Jim Klein-Peter.
Hey, Coach. Would you talk about, and you've got 25 plus years as a coach, when you win a game like that, how much it does for a program and your team going forward for the rest of the season?
You know, winning always builds confidence and belief. Anytime you win, you get more confident, you have more belief, and guys just, have a little more pep in their step. So it's always good. It energizes the entire department, the entire program. The whole university is energized by a win. So, and everyone feeds off of that.
Okay, and talk a little bit about the challenge that Florida A&M presents. They look like they're a team that maybe started off a little slow, but is improving as it's gone along.
Well, first and foremost, they're a very good football team, led by excellent defense. They play great complementary football. The defense is number one passing in the SWAC, pass defense. Number one, third down defense. Number two, scoring defense, giving up 15 points per game. Number two in rush defense. They put pressure on your quarterback, 26 total sacks. Great in the secondary with their Marquise Bell at safety, a 6'3", 205 safety that can really stretch the field, and he's great in run support. Offensively, they're led by their quarterback, Rashawn McKay, and Bishop Bennett is really good at the running back position. They have two explosive receivers on the outside that can make plays in space. So they're a really good football team.
What kind of improvement have you seen in Rashawn McKay? What's he doing right now that allowed him to solidify as a starter?
He's doing a really good job of getting the ball to his playmakers. He's running the offense extremely well. He's not turning the ball over. He's making really good decisions, and everything runs through him.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach Rollins.
Good morning.
And congratulations on a tremendous win. Well-played game on the television for all to see.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you about where has your resolve come from over the years in terms of the natural ebb and flow that you see in coaches traditionally in the season?
Well, you have to stay level. You can't get too high, you can't get too low, and just your daily routine keeps you resolved. You can't let any outside noise, the inside noise affect anything. Just stay level-headed and go through your process every day.
Now on to your next matchup. You've had these series of big games, and they just seem to continue to come in the conference play week to week. And now you have another big one. You have FAMU coming in. Obviously, over the years, this has been a intra-conference matchup. Now it's a divisional matchup. What do you see in terms on the film about Florida A&M University that you want to have your team prepared for?
First, they're big. Their size. We have to. They're big. They're a big football team, and they're very explosive. But they're like most of the teams that we play. Every team in this conference, they're very big and very athletic. So this is a very good conference from top to bottom. So they are fits that bill. They're 6-2 and 4-1 in the SWAC for a reason. They're a good football team.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Coach Rollins. Good luck this weekend.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Rollins, I hope you and everybody at Southern are well. Can you talk a little bit about the concept of November football, why it's so important to be playing well, and in particular in the SWAC and HBCU football?
It's just in football in general, the old saying goes, they remember November. So you have to play your best in November. And usually the healthiest team in November are the teams that plays their best.
A couple years ago, I covered a game. It was Southern at Florida A&M. This weekend, we flipped the script. The scene changes. It's at Mumford, but it's going to be a great game. Just talk about going in and what you see so far.
Well, going in, like I said, they're a big physical football team that plays great defense and very explosive on offense. And, this conference is very well coached from top to bottom. They have really good coaches in this conference. So it's going to be another hard-fought four-quarter football game.
Thank you, sir. Good luck.
Yes, sir.
Next question goes to Perry Daniels.
Coach Rollins, congratulations on the huge win against Alcorn Saturday. Can you talk to us about the difference? What was it that got Southern University into the win column when the past 3 to 4 years we've seen these very close games against Alcorn and Southern on the short end of the scoreboard? So what was the difference Saturday?
Honestly, just those guys just worked hard and they made the decisions. They're going to play 4 quarters, and they played 4 quarters, and they knew it was going to take all 4 and every minute and every second to actually achieve that. And so we did it, and I was proud of them for playing 4 full quarters of football, because that's what it's going to take playing against a championship program like Alcorn has.
And Florida A&M coming in this weekend. The schedule only gets tougher for the Jaguars. Talk about the preparation for this Florida A&M program.
I mean, the preparation is the same. You have to go out and work hard every day and try to improve on the things that you didn't do as well the previous Saturday, and build on what you did do well from the previous Saturday, and continue to climb.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Currently taking questions for Coach Rollins with Southern University. Any final questions for Coach? All right, looks like we have another question from Perry Daniels.
Coach, if you could talk about your offensive line's play Saturday.
Oh, well, yes, sir. They, normally they are the leaders of our team. We like to say big men lead this team, and they came out and played physical. They played hard. It was a hard fought ball game in the trenches, and they played hard inside, opening up holes and protecting our quarterback, and I was proud of their effort.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach Rollins, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I do see Coach McKinney there with us. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How's it going?
Doing great, Coach. As always, Coach, we appreciate your time on these calls. Coach, if you could please start us out with an opening statement about your team's most recent outing versus Arkansas Pine Bluff.
Yeah, hard fought win for our guys, much needed win. I thought our guys were resilient all game. Finally played a complete game, we feel like, in all 3 phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. Was able to get off the field defensively on 3rd downs and able to stay on the field offensively on 3rd downs. And I think that was the key to us coming away with the victory.
Thank you for those comments, Coach McKinney. We'll open it up for questions. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Morning, Charles. How's it going?
I wanted to ask a little bit about Andrew Body. The pressure that he's able to put on defenses. Not only can he throw the ball, obviously he had 271 yards this past week, but he also led the team in rushing with 121 yards. Just talk a little bit about the sort of pressure that he puts on defenses, being athletic, both running and pass.
Yeah, he allows us to he's a true dual threat quarterback, and he allows us to be able to, if we can protect him when he drops back, he can make those reads and make those throws. And then he can do some things in the run game that a lot of quarterbacks can't do. And he has the ability to make plays in the run game or keep plays alive, pass plays alive with his feet. So he's very athletic, and he's growing as a quarterback.
Sure thing. Appreciate that, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on that victory and putting 59 up on the scoreboard. Can you talk a little bit about November football and why that's so important to be playing well and in particular in the SWAC?
Yeah, everybody's playing for seeding within the league, and November is when it gets hot. You're playing, you beat up, you've played a tremendous amount of games. Usually the healthiest team this time of the year is the team that's going to come out on top. And it's just fun to play in November. The weather's
what we call football weather like, and to be playing around this time is just a fun time of the year.
Coach, a quick follow-up. This weekend, two young, dynamic quarterbacks will go heads up. Can you just talk about what you envision? And again, it should be a great game and a fan's treat.
Yeah, we got two young quarterbacks, on opposite ends of the spectrum, but they won't be going against each other. They'll be going against those defenses. And I think it's going to be fun to see, fun to watch. It's the future of the SWAC, I believe, and these guys they're putting up big numbers at an early age and early stage in their career, and just looking forward to being a part of it.
Thank you, sir. Have a good week.
Thank you. You too.
Question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Good morning, Coach McKinney.
Good morning, Dr. Cavill.
Congratulations on a big conference victory in terms of the style that was played.
Thank you.
No problem. I wanted to follow up on my colleagues' questions first in terms of young quarterbacks. You've had the experience coaching freshman quarterback, particularly this year. What do you see on film in terms of the quarterback that you'll be opposing you this weekend in terms of Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur does a great job for Jackson State. I mean, he has a strong arm. He gets through his reads. He can make every throw. And he's a big-time player.
In terms of defensively, are there any things that you want to do based on what you were able to successfully do this week against Pine Bluff?
I mean, our biggest deal has been trying to get off the field on third downs and creating some turnovers when we have those opportunities. And we feel like if we can do those things, we get the ball back to our offense and give us a chance to give us more opportunities to score points.
Follow-up question I have in terms of your freshman quarterback, Waddy. And last week you talked about him having kind of the ups and downs and freshmen that oftentimes he'll make freshman mistakes. Do you start to see maturity over the last couple of weeks? And is there anything you can do in regards to helping him against what many see as a very tough defense this week?
Well, each week that he plays, he's gaining more experience. So you start to see him not make as many of those freshman mistakes. But as far as going against this defense that Jackson State has, it's going to be tough. You know, they got athletes all over the field. They play hard. They run to the ball. But we're going to show up, put our best foot forward, and see what happens.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Currently taking questions for Coach McKinney with Texas Southern. Any final questions for Coach? Coach McKinney, as always, we appreciate your time. I'm sorry, we do have a question. Question goes to Charles Bishop.
No, I was raising my hand for the following interview.
Okay, no problem. Any final questions for Coach McKinney? All right, Coach, as always, we appreciate your time. Look forward to speaking to you again next week.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. We will get started. Happy to be joined by Coach Harrell. Good morning, Coach.
Good morning. How you doing?
Great, Coach, and thank you so much for taking some time out of your day to join us. Coach, if you would please start us out with the opening statement about the team's most recent outing at Mississippi Valley State.
Yes, I mean, first and foremost, hats off to Coach Dancy, his staff and his team. I think they did a great job as far as their preparation, having their team ready to compete. They came in and did some outstanding things as far as being able to run the football and also stopping our run game. But it's definitely a good opportunity to go in and compete against that team. And, you know, very thankful for those that came, the fans and the Sonic Boom. We needed that extra lift to get us going. But we'll take the win. And it's always good to get back and make corrections after a win. And that's where we are right now. They're trying to improve on some of the things that we felt like we had some deficiencies.
Appreciate those comments, Coach. We'll open up for questions. First question goes to Charles Bishop.
Good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Good morning, Bishop. How you doing?
Good. I know you are in constant contact with Coach Prime, but just wanted to ask a question in regards to his spirits going forward and his health update, if you will.
Yes. Thanks for asking. Coach Prime is still, getting better and better. Every time I talk to him last night. Talked to him this morning with updates, some things that he want to make sure that we keep incorporated, and pretty much showing how proud he is of the staff and the players and how we're doing. And like anything, he's doing well. Right now I just try to leave anything for medical things. Just let him try to make those comments when he gets back. But when I talk to him, he's in great spirits and he's well engaged, and he's continuously just helping us get better as we go throughout the weeks.
Sure thing. Football question. Texas Southern, they are prolific passing attack. They're number 2 in the conference in regards to passing. Does this sort of play into the hands of Jackson State in regards to their defense being able to get after a pass?
I mean, definitely we feel like we're very good up front as far as getting after the quarterback with our defensive ends, our front 7. We feel confident with our guys in the secondary as far as being in position to make plays. But when you look at what Body is doing, he's putting up numbers. Guys outside, they're getting open. O-line is giving them time to make those plays. I think he's more dangerous when he's extending the plays. So you got to make sure you keep him in the pocket. You got to probably cover the guys a little bit longer down the field because he's very good as far as extending plays. So we got to make sure that when you look at what he's done over the weeks, over 500 yards total offense, the passing game, run game is very balanced. So we got to make sure he's a young guy, he's a freshman. And he does a great job as far as making plays in the passing game for his team.
Sure thing. Appreciate it, Coach.
Thank you.
Next question goes to James Hill.
Coach Harrell, congratulations on that victory at Valley. Can you talk about the concept of November football? It's about winning games and solidifying a championship run, but talk about it from a coaching perspective and why the month of November is so important in HBCU football in any football, and in particularly in this case in the SWAC?
Well, thank you, James. Great question. And we want to make sure we understand what we're trying to get done, and like every program as far as finishing. In the month of November, late October, November is, pretty much championship football. You get a change of weather. You get guys throughout the season start to get a little fatigue, and sometimes they want to try to push the envelope a little as far as not being on time, not doing all the extra things. You get some things off the field classrooms where guys not doing well in the classrooms. So you got to take all those things in consideration to make sure you keep your guys focused. And that's what we are at this point, trying to make sure our guys understand what we're trying to work towards. Like you said, James, during this part of the year, we know we got 3 games remaining, so we try to take week by week. We know we got Texas Southern. From our standpoint, Texas Southern, we want to go 1-0. We want to complete this mission. To understand, even though they're on the other side of the bracket, we want to win all these games. We're not just concerned about the East. We want to make sure we show a good representation throughout the SWAC as we play the game of football. We got Southern coming the following week. Then we know we got a big game versus Alcorn. So week by week, we try to make sure we have what we have in place, things we can hang our hat on. We try to pull things from last week as far as discipline. So our mindset this week is self-discipline, because we feel like last week, when it came to the crucial situations on 3rd down, trying to get the first down, receiving out on the ball, we get the first down, that play is called back. We're trying to punt the ball after they go to punt, we get them off the field. We got 12 guys on the field. So it's like situational things we want to try to make sure we continue to master. And once we go throughout the week, like self-discipline is this week, as we get closer to Alcorn, we'll change things up. We'll focus on winning the state of Mississippi. We did a good job as far as Valley. But now versus Alcorn, we want to win the state of Mississippi. So each week we want to make sure as a staff, we give our guys something to push for. Because like I said, during the month of November, this is championship run. And we got to stay intact and take it one game at a time.
Thank you, sir. Good luck going forward, and pass along my regards to Coach Prime, please.
I definitely will, Mr. Hill. Thank you.
Next question goes to Dr. Cavill.
Coach, good afternoon.
Good to see you, Doc. Thank you.
No problem. Over your years of coaching, can you give us a little framework of why it's unique, to some degree special, to see 2 freshman quarterbacks that seem to be playing at such a high level matchup in a game like this?
Man, it's tremendous. you probably have to go back. My only experience with that was I was at Howard University with Greg McGee, was an outstanding quarterback, ended up throwing over 10,000 yards by the time he finished his career. I know in the SWAC, you had some, you probably go back to Steve McNair. When I was at Howard, we played against Steve McNair his freshman year. He led us up in the Circuit City Classic. But anytime you get a freshman quarterback that can come do those type of things, that means your program is heading in the right direction. That means you made the right selection when you chose that guy coming into your program. But like you said, it's hard to win ball games, and it makes it easier when you got that trigger man that can make you better offensively, get you out of bad plays and turn it into a good play. And I think that's what Texas Southern has. And I think we definitely have that in Shador, and it shows in the success of the game. I know right now we're sitting at one loss, and I know they pretty much have like 5, but they're playing very well because of a body. He definitely is the one that makes that offense go. And like you said, it's good to have a guy like that for the next 3 to 4 years, you got a guy that you can build a program around.
Coach, I know you're not going to lay out the game plan for me, but if you would just talk about talk about your defense. What type of things do you want to do versus a freshman quarterback, or are you just focusing on the things that you tend to want to do game to game? Are there any unique changes that you do from a matchup like this, or is it just really focused on these are the things we do, we're going to do them well, let's continue to get better?
They watch film, so anything I say, I'm sure they're not going to be surprised. They have a great coaching staff. And like I said, dog, we just do what we do. We know that when you go back to Alabama A&M, Glass is an outstanding quarterback. And the things that we did to him, we want to make sure that we try to duplicate that this week, because you got to make sure that quarterback, you put pressure on him. You got to make him feel uncomfortable. You got to give him different looks and make him one-dimensional. Once we understood with Glass, as far as putting pressure on him, make sure we hit him within the whistle. He's getting up and off the ground. Just get him somewhere. We saw I think it was the Grambling game where they pretty much put a lot of pressure on him, and we kind of picked up on that to make sure that we want to put him in that same mindset throughout the game. And this week we got a freshman that does a lot of things that Glass can do as far as making all the throws. He's probably more elusive as far as in the run game when compared to Glass. But we want to do the same thing. It's no secret. We want to keep him in the pocket, make him be a quarterback, keep containment, because he's better when he extends the plays as far as making those type plays. So let's see if he can make those type throws by sitting in the pocket, staring down the barrel of a gun with someone coming right at him, see if he can stand in there and make that throw. And make the right checks also. They do a lot of good things on offense. They do some things as far as what we call FIB, formation the boundaries. They're very good with RPOs. They do a great job as far as mixing it up. And their quick game is very efficient too. So knowing what they do best as far as trying to get the ball out of his hands, we want to make sure that we probably just change up things, give him a different look. And when they do drop back to throw the football, we want to make sure we're in the right call to put pressure on him to see what he do in that situation.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Doc.
Any final questions for Coach? Coach, thank you so much for taking some time today, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You guys have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay.